was 19 when I met her, walking. She was dating a guy that had a car lot. Okay? So it really messed this old brother up that a young brother with no car got an older woman who dated a guy that had a car lot. Man, that did something for me, man. You know, but what I learned is, what's that song they sing, Mr. Feel Good? You know, our life, we should teach people how to feel good. And that's not a sexual thing. That's something when God puts inside of you. Here's what we've learned as entrepreneurs. If you can do what people ask you to do, do it. Even if it costs you. And the two keys that we always talk about, I've taught my sons, learn to be more interested than interesting. That's why we ask you, what do? I love talking to people because I'm fascinated who people are, okay? And so even in business, even in life, when you start learning what people do and you hear, you can plug them up with other people, okay? And that we're going to talk about some of these principles here. The 4 keys to success, number 1 is you must know your assignment. You're doing a great job. You know, at 43 years old, coming out of the military, look at all the things that you're doing. That tells us that you had some successful parents, okay? That tells me that you understand what your assignment is, okay? So when we hear that our military personnel come out, they're traumatized, they don't know what to do, no, you went in right. So another thing that we like to say is that things don't end wrong, they start wrong. So the key is knowing how to start something. If things don't start right, they're going to end wrong. Sometimes we have to go back in life and say, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done this way. You know what, even when we have wrong relationships, we have no undefined relationships in our life. The worst, that will cost you the most, having an undefined relationship. You better define it and find out what it's there for. So you have to know what your assignment is. Second key is you must become an expert. You sound like you're an expert. You're very focused. 3, must obtain your wealth. If you're going to do all those things, then you should be very, very wealthy, because some people aren't going to believe you if you don't have anything. And we're not just talking about stuff. 4th key is influence. We need influence. You be in the military, first thing you said, first sergeant, first class, see, first class, I don't know all the ranks, but the first thing I heard was, you told me your rank, because you understand government. You understand that meant something to you. Why? Because that was personal. You chose to do that. You decided to do that. And that's knowing what your assignment is. We have to make choices in life. Okay? The 2 keys of wealth are, number 1, say attraction.
Attraction.
That is the key. You mentioned that brother that was standing right here a few minutes ago. See, we have to know who we're attracted to. Out of all the booths that you could have went to, you stopped here. Okay? And so a lot of times people will say, well, why don't I dress this way? This is my uniform. Okay? Only time I don't dress like this is when we go to our boat. I dress down, put my shorts on, flip-flops, because then they think you're a snob. Okay? But even in high school, guess what? I cut the grass in slacks. Okay? Why? Because my mother was putting an identity in me at a young age, not knowing where I was headed, I would need to be this way. Now, my clothes don't make me who I am, I make the clothes. Okay? We were invited to speak at a men's home, and they told me to dress down because the mayor had showed up and dressed in overalls. I said, no, I'm going to dress up. I said, because there are people there that need to see who they're supposed to be and what greatness is on the inside of them. Because if it had worked for me, a knucklehead, a whole bunch of ex-fornicator and all that, it has certainly worked for people. Because most people in life are in a far better place today where I was when God found me. Okay? So the first key to wealth is attraction. When you're attracted to somebody, find out what's there. Okay? The second key to wealth is solving problems. That's what you're doing in your foundation and your nonprofit. You're solving problems mentally, physically, emotionally, okay? Even being a financial expert, the money part is easy for me. You know what I deal with? Mindsets, behavior patterns. Because if you don't fix this, right, and get this and this working together, there's no amount of money that can help a person. So we created our own curriculum. We created our own systems. This is why I became an author. I write my own books. Why? Because as a strategist, and that's what I am, I can take a person's life, I can take whatever they're doing and wherever they're at, and I can restructure it. So I spend probably 90% of my time just restructuring people's life. And I'm great at it. I'm an expert. So I'll leave you with this, or 2 things. The first revelation that God gave me was He told me I didn't have to think like a black man. And that one revelation changed my life. Because being raised in an environment or a culture, you have limits, we have mindsets, okay? And so that's why it's so refreshing to meet someone like yourself, because you came from a home with no limits. And so it's our goal in life to help other people become more successful. So I would ask you and I would encourage you, don't follow people because they're successful. Follow people that make other people successful. And even for yourself, I really see you venturing off into some other areas. Do you do coaching or seminars or workshops now?
I'm actually doing my first, not my first lecture, but since I'm retired, I'm doing a lot of speaking.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm doing a lecture in India.
Okay, wow.
Part of what is medical.
Yes.
One of the things that's missing in the community is that the sickle cell trait conversation with screening.
Yes.
So I partnered with a guy who has a medical lab. We're going to team up together and do some sickle cell trait screening. So when I do my health fairs and my high school tours,
okay. Okay. Well, we'd love to see how we can partner and we work together. Okay. So if I can, since you don't have any, you can fill out that mailer for me over there. Okay. And we will get some contact information from you.